New Year.
Cecilia, you're breaking my heart. You're shaking my confidence daily. Oh Cecilia, I'm down on my knees. I'm begging you please to come home. So come home.
Hello everyone, it's Cecilia-Joy and welcome back to my channel. I have tried to film this video a few times and I'm struggling to get my words out a little bit, so I'm going to just speak and hope that it comes out right this time. I am feeling very frustrated by the things that I am seeing online and around me at the moment. This video is being filmed on New Year's Eve. It will go out tonight on New Year's Eve, and it is officially the last day of 2020, which has been a really horrendous year for most people, and I think most of us are really glad to see the back of it. However, going into 2021, not much is going to change, and if anything, it's probably going to get worse. Yesterday, the government announced that many more areas across the country are going to be put into tier 4 and have to follow new, stricter restrictions. Myself, living in Surrey, I have been in tier 4 now since before Christmas, so I'm used to it. I mean, I guess we're all used to it at this point, but a lot of people aren't happy that they are now having to lock down again pretty much and follow really strict rules. From my perspective, I understand why the government have done this. To be honest, if it was up to me, I would have the whole country in lockdown and schools would not be opening and everybody would be told to stay at home, because I am very worried about the situation that is unfolding with this virus. Apparently, not everyone sees it this way. Many people have expressed their disappointment with the fact that rules are getting stricter. A lot of people seem to be denying that there's anything wrong at all, and I will come back to that later in the video. But from what I can see, and from what most people can see, we're in a very dire situation. And I don't mean to make a really depressing video, I just want this to be a little bit of a reality check. And I want to use my YouTube channel, as small as it is, as a platform to try and get a little bit of a message out about COVID and where we are. And I'm not saying I'm an expert, because I'm not. I'm finding it really hard to get my words out for this video. So, we have been told on the news and by politicians that the NHS is at breaking point. We have been told that there are limited spaces available, especially in ICUs, which are intensive care units, and at A&Es, patients are now being treated in ambulances because there is no space in the actual A&E for new patients. The nurses and doctors and healthcare professionals and everybody who works in the NHS are under so much pressure at the moment. They have the responsibility of looking after the whole country, and there are people complaining that they won't be able to go and see their friends this Christmas Eve. Not Christmas Eve, New Year's Eve, and it just annoys me. It just really annoys me. You know, young people saying, it doesn't affect me, I've got to live my life. You know, people in their 20s, 30s. There are doctors in their 20s and 30s who are on the front line every day fighting for people's lives, and they're not complaining. And I think people just need a little bit of a reality check about how serious this situation is. I have seen so much information online and so many people preaching absolute bull. For example, today somebody wrote on their Facebook,
does anybody actually know any COVID patients? Like, not just those with like cold-like symptoms, but those who've actually been admitted to hospital for serious illness? Because I don't. Does anyone?
Just because you don't doesn't mean they don't exist. Ugh. So I saw a video on Twitter today, and it was a woman walking around an outpatients clinic in a hospital. And most outpatients clinics are cancelled at the moment, or they've moved to like Zoom or phone calls because it's not safe for people to be in hospitals. So no wonder the outpatient clinic was empty. But this woman is walking around filming this outpatient clinic going,
"It's so empty, you know, the hospitals are not overrun, the government are lying to us."
wah, 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 wah. If she went upstairs or to the ICU unit or the wards in the hospital, it would be a completely different story. And also I think people have to understand that not every hospital in the UK will be treating coronavirus patients. And not every hospital in the UK has an ICU unit or, you know, an intensive care unit. Why would the government trash their own economy? What would be the purpose of faking a pandemic? What would be the purpose about lying about hospitals being overrun? What would be the purpose of making everyone wear masks? Or don't even get me started on the vaccine. The amount of people I constantly see questioning the vaccine and questioning the science behind it, because, you know, everybody's a scientist nowadays. I don't want to get the vaccine because I don't want chemicals pumped into me. I don't want to get the vaccine because it was so rushed that you can't have done it properly. Like, it just, first of all, I don't think a vaccine is chemicals. It's made up from DNA, which is made of protein, and these are materials that we all have in our bodies anyway. Natural materials. Secondly, it wasn't rushed through. Everything that they needed to do to make sure that firstly this vaccine works and secondly that it's safe, they did. They don't cut corners. They're not going to be injecting half of the population or all of the population with something that one might harm them or two does nothing. What would be the purpose? What would be the point in, I don't know, killing off half the population or making them ill? The reason that it was able to be put through so fast was because everybody in the world was throwing money at it, and so they didn't have to wait for funding to carry out clinical trials. There was no pause between each stage because it was so important that everything was done one after the other and there was no waiting time, and that's why it wasn't rushed. Everything was done, and usually clinical trials take so long because there are huge periods of time waiting for funding between each stage. And I know this because I read an article about it by a scientist who does clinical trials as a job, who obviously knows more than friggin' Karen on Facebook. Ugh. Anyway, this rant has got a purpose. Has it? This whole coronavirus, this whole pandemic has been really conflicting, because on one hand it's restored my faith in humanity and showed me that people are amazing and they will go to the end of the earth to help each other. But it's also showed me how awful people can be and how inconsiderate and selfish people are. They think that if something doesn't affect them or anybody directly around them, that firstly it doesn't matter, or that it's not real, or that they don't have to do anything about it. And if this continues, if people continue to think like this is never going to go away, and this is going to be our lives forever. And I know that I, as much as anyone else, want to get on with my life. I'm a 21-year-old girl. I've just graduated university. I want to get out into the world, you know? But I can't at the moment. So personally, me and my family, we're doing our bit. We are having, just me and my mum, my dad tonight, we're having a little dinner party, the three of us. We're going to celebrate the new year, whatever. I don't really care about New Year anyway. And I know there's going to be so many people going out, ignoring the rules and celebrating, and I think that we're going to all have to pay for that in the new year when cases go up once again. So if you're watching this and you're debating whether to go to your friends tonight or whether to stay in, please stay in. I don't know if anyone could persuade you not to, but we're in a dire situation and it's not fair for the vulnerable and the the old to be locked up for the rest of their lives because you guys wanted to see your friends and get sloshed. Just think about your actions. Everything you do has an effect on somebody else. That person might not be a friend of yours, it might not be someone you know, but effectively you could be the reason that somebody else ends up seriously ill with COVID in hospital. And if you're a conspiracy theorist, you're a f***ing idiot. Anyway guys, that was my rant. Happy New Year. I hope that whatever you're doing, i.e. at home with the people that you live with and no one else, you have a good time. Let's get this over with. Let's start all doing our bit and hopefully we can get rid of this virus and get a vaccine if you're offered it. Please just get it. Anyway, I will see you in my next video, which hopefully will be a bit more positive. See you soon. Bye. Bye.
Cecilia, you're breaking my heart. You're shaking my confidence, stealing. Oh, Cecilia, I'm down on my knees. I'm begging you, please, to come home. So come home.